So you shot out into the void. You left any traditional religion or philosophy. You found yourself in not what you were expecting. Instead of a dream world, you have something of a nightmare, various shades of nightmare, but you're basically running from something that you lost, something that you can't find, something that's chasing you. And today I'd like to continue the story of the journey Alex and I went on from Christianity to atheism to Christianity, with picking it up with kind of mid-void. As Eric's played with the pen guy.
This is Alex Burks.
And this is Pen Guy Podcasting. So we left ourselves off, both kind of floundering in the void, but slowly our eyes were kind of opening internally. Yours more logically and mine more emotionally and experientially, to the reality of where we had wandered to. So we left your story off where you were discovering that atheism was surprisingly like the thing that you had left, religion. So why don't you pick it up from there?
Well, I think that insight was more reflective as someone who's now religious. On the ground, I think the thing I realized, or the thing I acquired from atheism on the ground, was a sense of superiority led me to a deep sense of disdain for other people, because I knew better than them, because I understood their belief system. I had accepted it, now I rejected it, and now I could dismantle their belief system. So, and again, I'm not trying to strawman all atheists. I'm just saying, in my kind of juvenile perception of the belief system I had acquired, that being atheism, this is how I filtered it. And so it was a very negative belief system for me, and I hope it's more positive for adherents of atheism today, who are probably older and more well-adjusted than I was. But I will say that, to what you're saying, the other aspect of this for me was, I think if you reject absolute morality and external moral arbitration, and I mean external to all humanity, that's absolute and inerrant, that being God, I think what you're left with is a lack of a sense of meaning, which we talked about. So I think what I see most people kind of sliding into who aren't religious, and even those who are objective atheists, but most people who aren't religious don't deem themselves atheists. They deem themselves in more abstract terms. But I think most people kind of slide into a soft hedonism. If you ask people, because we all want to be happy. I don't know who said this. I know I heard this on Matt Fred. It's like, why do you do what you do? And you can keep chasing that chain of causality back to, I want to be happy. And there's kind of no deeper motivational bedrock. He said you've come to existential bedrock with the shovel of a stupid question. Maybe that was Jordan Peterson. I don't know, but we all want to be happy, right? There's no deeper intrinsic motivation than that. But we don't know what will make us happy. And so we kind of do these things without consciously thinking about them. And I think on the good day, that's the guy who, goes to work, the guy or the woman who goes to work every day to provide for family, because they get a sense of meaning with providing for family, and they love their spouse, and they want to provide for their kids, and they want to have a good retirement, and maybe go on vacation, and have a beer, watch the Packer game, whatever, what have you, right? And that's the best ideal situation, and that person can claim to have no theistic motivation, but they're doing all these things because they want to be happy, and they want to make other people happy, which makes them happy. You know what I mean? Like, they want to make their children happy because that makes them happy. And it might get more altruistic than that. They might say, I want to make someone happy for their own good. And that's, I think, the basis of true love. So you might reach some sort of platonic idea of genuine love. But I think for most of us, when we reject God and we reject beatitudino is the term in Latin. That's actual happiness. It's more blessedness. And Christ uses this term to mean more fulfillment. And that fulfillment is found more traditionally in self-sacrifice. It's kind of what I was alluding to with the family man or woman or person who gives himself is closer to true happiness. I feel like most of us, because that pursuit of happiness requires sacrifice, we kind of eschew it and we pursue lesser and more sources of happiness, such as, like you alluded to, drugs and alcohol, or mindless sex, or overeating. And when we see the alcoholic, or the drug addict, or the glutton, or the prostitute, or the man who is seeking out the company of a prostitute, we can look and we can see something intrinsically disordered. And as a Christian, I'd say this person is blinded by their passions. But when you're an atheist, all you have is passion. You only have your passions, right? You're always seeking to fill that internal void. And so I would say that's kind of what we're left with. We're left with this range of either doing things for more virtuous, hedonistic ends, and those more virtuous ends might lead to something that we might identify in a kind of a Thomistic sense as a true love, and that's what we can hope for, and that's what I hope for all the atheists who are watching. I hope you shoot for more that more selfless love. But on the other end, you have the man who is drunkenly, hitting his wife, or the man who is stoned on his couch at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday or something, or the man who is drunk on a Friday night, or the finance bro who's just mindlessly seeking to amass millions. I'm going on a long tirade, but the main point to bookend all of that is both of those things are equal options for the atheistic worldview. And you can say that one oughtn't do this, but why not? And there's no reason why you shouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I kill myself right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I just stood up and shot myself and there's no external motivation, it wouldn't matter. And I could love my wife and my child, and I could work very hard and provide for my family, and volunteer and be a member of my community, and help those who need my I could give of myself. But both of these things are morally equivalent, and any argument that you could make for them not being morally equivalent is not binding in any way whatsoever. And it has no and not that we work as Christians for that external reward, but we work unto the completion and the deepening of love. And so does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a good person in order to get to heaven. I'm a good person because that was the destiny I was born and created to fulfill. I was created to love. And if I pursue deeper and deeper love, it will only grow greater in depth and richness. And it will grow in such depth and richness that it will overturn even the gates of hell. It will shatter death completely. That's the Christian claim. And so to me, that's where I look at atheism. I say it's kind of a non-sustainable system based upon what we actually have to do every day as human persons in order to pursue happiness. That was a really long rant, and I appreciate letting me talk that long, but I've thought about this for just a little bit.